Hello. I just wanted to pop on here and talk to you today a little bit more about the tarot. Now, everybody knows it's a very ancient and useful tool for exploring the self and the inner worlds and also guiding you through life. But I wanted to speak specifically today about why I think it's such a valuable tool for now, these times, as we move into the age of Aquarius. So first of all, as you know, we live in a left brain, logically driven world. And as we move into this age of Aquarius, and as things around us and structures that we considered our safety and as a definite in our lives are beginning to crumble and shift, we're going to have to come up with different ways of living, different ways of managing our resources, different ways of being in the world. And to do that, we need to move into right brain, creative, imaginative approaches. And so the tarot is a brilliant way of doing that, especially if you sometimes struggle with meditation or with accessing your intuition, which leads on to imagination and creativity, because the images, by just looking at the images, they kind of engage your mind and keep your mind busy, which then frees up your intuition to kind of go off on a flight and an imagination, if you like. The images on the tarot often tell a story, and you can begin to tune into that story. Humans operate on stories. We tell stories all the time. It's how we share experience. And so my belief is that using the tarot can be a really easy way in for people to access their intuition who might not be used to doing that. And also it activates the right brain, the creativity, the imagination, because we can't go on doing things as we've done before. The other thing I think is particularly appropriate is when you look at the tarot, it speaks to us on 3 levels of being, and it puts us into our right context. Again, in this modern world, we can so often become insular and self-focused. It's all about us, and much of our marketing and our idea of success in life is all about the self. What have I got for myself? What have I achieved for myself? But the tarot works on 3 levels. So first of all is self-knowledge and self-exploration. So you first of all have to understand yourself on a deep level, on the inner world, to know how you operate. And then you can't just stay there. You can't just stay in the self. You have to then expand out into the world around you, society, culture, and also your relationships with the other people around you. So then again, you're not allowed to stay kind of selfish and isolated. You have to move out into that greater context. And then the third level that we're put into context in is our relationship to the more than human world, or the other than human world, the spiritual planes, nature, all other life forms that are not human, the cosmic realms, nature spirits, all of those wonderful beings that exist on different planes that we don't often relate to or see with our everyday eyes. So we are put then into the context that we need to be in. The reason we have got in such a bad place with the earth, with our treatment of the earth, depleting its resources, treating animals purely as food or as kind of slaves to our desires and needs. When you put yourself in that context of relating to the spiritual world and the more than human world on a personal level, realizing that you are just a cell in that big wider organism, then you just can't carry on treating it with neglect and disrespect, as we have been doing. So it places you properly in context. We don't exist in isolation. We exist as part of human relationship and human society, but also as part of a spiritual realm and a natural realm on the planet. The other thing I absolutely love about the tarot is it is ruthlessly honest. It does not, as many spiritual practices can do, try to get you to transcend or kind of avoid the tough stuff in life. The tarot depicts every aspect of human experience. So it tells you what the challenges are and it will guide you in how to cope with them. And that's particularly necessary now. We are going to go through some challenges. We already are. There will be more. And we have to face up to them. We can't avoid them. We can't meditate our way out of it. We have to be fully embodied in our human form, working with new values to make a brighter, better, more regenerative future. So on those lines of being embodied and being part of the natural world, another thing about the tarot is its very language. If you look at the 4 suits in the tarot, earth, air, fire and water, they are all part of the natural world. Everything that lives on this planet is made up of those elements. We're all made up of the same stuff. And so again, it brings us back to living in the here and now, because yes, we are spiritual beings, we are souls inhabiting a physical form, but we need to be able to relate to the world around us. This is our learning place, and we need to be able to relate to it healthily, and see those elements in ourselves. So it places us really nicely in the natural world. And along with that, we then learn about the cycles of life, death, rebirth, life, death, rebirth. I've spoken about that many times, and that is how the physical world operates. And it can be so helpful to see that, because when you're in a challenging time, you know that this too will pass. You know that you're passing through a phase and it will eventually pass and you will move into another phase. So life is continuously moving and changing, and that encourages us to accept beginnings and endings, to accept and embrace change. We may never be very comfortable with it. I think everybody is always a little bit when it comes to change, because, you know, we like to feel secure and safe. But in the months and years to come, we're going to have to make some changes. And so the quicker we can get used to that, the quicker we can see it as just an integral part of life, the easier these changes will be. And also, they are an easy way of tapping in to ancient wisdom. Our ancestors knew all this, of course. And this is a way that we can begin to see it in action in our own lives through the cards, by pulling, for example, a card a day, and then looking back at that at the end of the day and seeing how that energy operated in your life. You can really begin to see how we are influenced by our environment, and in turn we influence our environment, and that can be positive or negative. So those are my main absolute plus points for now. There are many others, but they are often spoken about. So I wanted to kind of target this talk onto why it's so valuable and helpful for now. As you may see from my events, if you follow my page, I'm running an in-person 2-day introduction to intuitive tarot reading course here in West Wales on the 25th and 26th of March. The link is in the post, so do ask me for more information or sign up for that if you're interested. And I will probably be running it later in the year as a series of Zoom workshops too. So if you can't get to me in Wales, don't worry, you'll have another opportunity to sign up for it. So with that, I will leave you with my blessings and love and support. I know this is a difficult time, but together we can all make it through. Blessings to you, and I'll speak to you again soon.